Hello YouTubers. I was feeling a little bit bummed out this morning. I was planning a big project here. I'm thinking about going into production on something, a small limited supply I guess. But I just got to thinking about all the things I needed to do, and it's kind of a some large stuff for a little mill drill like this. You know, I'm thinking, what can I do with a little drill like this? And I was thinking about all the things I had to do just to get prepared to start this project. I thought, well, it's not going to get started if I don't get off my butt and go. So the first thing I did was I took my vise off of here, off my mill, cleaned it all up real good, put my no-go on here and checked to make sure the tram and everything on the mill was right. I had not done it when I got the mill, and about a month or two ago I broke down and checked it all out, and to square it all up you have to loosen these bolts back in here and shim that, so you're shimming the whole thing back and forth and front and back, and it was a real bear. And I thought, I hope it was about 10 thousandths off on the length of the table when I started, and I got it real close. I thought it was within about a thousandth front and back and end to end. Well, I checked it today, and right down the center of this center flat, it was dead on from one end to the other, except where there's a little place where the guy I got the mill from had put a little groove in one of the across here. Not deep, just enough you can see it, and the indicator read it. But it was right on, end to end, front to back. I couldn't believe it. So that saved me a lot of work. And then I put my vise back on here and got it within like a quarter of a thousandth on this face here from end to end. So everything should be really good. The project I'm doing right now is I want to make a mill stop. So this will bolt on the back of here. These holes for the chuck, the vise space there, go clear through. It's a 10 millimeter 1.5 metric. I'm going to drill this so I can bolt it on the back of here, and then I'm going to put a rod in here that comes out, and then another adjustable rod to come in and out to make a mill stop. The only way I can do this project, the big project, is if I have stops made up and jigs made up. I mean, I'm just going to have to make all that stuff up so that I don't have to re-measure everything every time I try to do something. So the project today is going to be a mill stop to put on here. This is a piece of 1/2 inch thick, 1.25 inches wide, and I cut it 8 inches long. It's actually about 8 1/8 because I'm going to mill off both ends just to make sure they're good and square. So let me get set up to do that. Then I'll drill the holes for the bolts in back here and a hole in the end for a rod to come through. Then I'm going to drill a hole in the end to put a thumb screw in there to lock that 1/2 inch rod in place. It'll all come together. I may draw it up for you on the dry erase board up there, just so I can kind of keep track of what I'm doing too by looking up there at the board. Let's get going. Everything's good and clean. No, my wife didn't do it. I had to do it myself. Okay, here's a quick sketch of what I'm going to do. Let's just go over this real quick. This is the piece I just showed you. There's the bolt holes to bolt it to the back of the vise. This is a hole drilled through it for this piece. There's a hole in the end for a screw to screw in to lock it in place. There will be a keyway milled in it that the end of this little thumb screw will ride in to keep it squared up with the vise. And there's a hole here for this piece, and the same thing, a keyway and a thumb screw. This is what it'll look like. This is on the back of the vise. This will slide in and out to adjust how far in the jaws I need it to get it set, and this will slide in and out and lock in place for a stop on the mill vise. It's a common thing, but I know I have a lot of people viewing my channel that are not into this stuff. Hopefully they'll be interested. Let's get busy with it. Right now what I want to do is just mill the end of this off square. So I'm going to bring this over till it touches. Come over just a little bit more, about 5 thousandths, 10 thousandths. Where's my cut fluid? Just square off the end of this with the mill. Then I'll go down to the other end and do the same thing. Okay, that's got both ends cleaned up. Now I have to switch over to my drill chuck. I'll be right back with you. Okay, let's find the edge. Watch that little thing, it'll start spinning real true, then right when it kicks is when you're even with the edge. Right there. Now I'll set my dial here on 0. And I always like to back off and then check to make sure I didn't overrun it a little bit. Right there, I'm within 1,000, and I'll go the last 1,000, and it kicks over. I'm right on the money. So now I just raise it up. I'm gonna have to move you out of the way. You're in my way. Now we'll raise it up. That's a 1/2 inch diameter, so now we come in 1, 2 1/2. One a little too far. Right there. Set it back to 0 again. Now the center of the spindle is right even with the edge of the piece right here. And it's a 1 1/4. So I got to come in another 6 or 0.625. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2 1/2. Now the center of the spindle is even with the center, the dead center on my piece there. Now what I got to do is go to the end, and I deburred the end so it wouldn't affect my edge finding here. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. Come back out till it touches. Start centering that little spinner up, edge finder up, and as soon as it kicks, right there, now I'll put it on 0. And then I'll run it back, and I run it back into within 1,000. Hasn't kicked. There, it kicked a little bit early, so I'm gonna check it again. Oops. Right on the money. Okay. Now come in. 1, 2.5. Now I'm right even with this edge and dead center down the middle. Now let me do some calculating to see how far in I want to come to drill my first hole. 15/16 should put the end of this pretty close to the end of my vise. It doesn't have to be anything exact. So we're going to use my center drill and mark right where I want this hole. I made this handy little thing to cover the ways on my, or the T-slots on my mill, and I made a little box with little holes in it to hold all the tools that I use all the time. Keep them right here handy. Let me round up the drill bits. Okay, what I've done is come down to this end, located it, came in 3/4 of an inch, used my center drill, marked the spot. Going to work my way up to a 1/2 inch drill bit for the one rod that will be adjustable in and out this way. Then I'm going to drill it on the end and tap it for a locking screw. And then I'm done with this part. I've just got to start on the rounds that go in here and then in the other way. Let me drill this out to 1/2 inch. I guess you don't really need to watch that. It's just drilling. Okay, I stood it vertical, clamped it in my vise. I got another piece of 1/2 inch right here to hold the vise jaws parallel or help hold them. I've located the center of the piece. I came to this edge, then came in halfway, came back here and located it and came in halfway, spot drilled it. Now I'm going to drill a number 7 hole down into this hole for the 1/2 inch, and that's the correct size for a 1/4 20. Next I'll be tapping it. Okay, there we go. I just hope I'm high enough to get my tap in there. I always wipe off my drill bits before I put them away. Let me go get my tap wrench. Okay, I didn't leave myself enough room in here to get a tap wrench and a tap and everything, so I just chucked it in my chuck. But since it's just a little 1/2 inch hole here, I'm not going to try to power tap it because I'm sure I'd smack the bottom of the hole and screw everything up. So I'm just going to spin it like this. Okay, I think I can trust myself to get it straightened out. Oh! Let me take it over to another vise. Got my soft jaws in, got it all lined up here. Put some Molly D on my tap. Don't want to bottom out in there. That's about it. Okay, we're back at the mill. I'm not going to bore you with all the details here. I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to mill off both ends just like I did that other one. Drill a 1/2 inch hole here. Drill a hole here for a 1/4 20 set screw. Turn it up, drill another 1/2 inch hole there. Turn it over and drill another hole here for 1/4 20 set screw. This end here will fit on the end of the 1/2 inch rod that will be coming out this way on the vise. It'll be sticking out like this on the vise. This will be on the end of it like that. I'll have set screws to lock it on there. Then I'll have another piece of 1/2 inch that'll come through that way. It will go right in here to make a stop for in my vise. So it's square off both ends, drill a 1/2 inch hole, a number 7 for 1/4 20, number 7 for 1/4 20, 1/2 inch hole. By the way, this is a piece of 3/4 by 1.25 inches. The other one was 1/2 inch by 1.25 inches. They're both cold roll 1018 steel. So let me get this done and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all done. Well, I think I'm done for today. Here's the part that will screw into the back of the vise. There's already holes drilled and tapped there. I'll have a rod come through here. I was going to make a thumb screw on here, knurled. I don't know, maybe I need a nut or a bolt so that I can tighten it, get it good and tight so it doesn't move. We'll have to see. You'll have a rod coming out there going into the end of this. I've got a set screw here to lock it down on there. I drilled it and tapped it for a set screw there, not thinking that that's pretty thin. There's only like one thread, so I doubt if I'll use that one. And then I'll have another rod come through here, and that'll be what my material sets up against. And then this is a lock for that. That's where I'm at today. I'm going to come out tomorrow and finish it up. I'll do a little bit of lathe work, and I'm going to mill keyways for these locking screws here and here, and then a flat for this one to lock down on. Then I'll be able to put it on the vise and mission completed, hopefully. That's the end of this one. It'll be part 1, and I'll finish it up tomorrow. Thanks for watching.